Hello, welcome to Undisputed Boxing. We're back after what feels like quite a while, about a week and a half since we did our last video, so apologies. Yes, we need to get together to review Saturday night, a busy weekend of boxing. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. I'm here with Rick. How are we doing?
I think our millions of subscribers are gutted that we've been away for so long.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's give what they're looking for. So, where do you want to start? This is, as I say, a really busy weekend. Obviously, we were supposed to go to this. The matchroom card, Dillian Whyte versus Otto Wallin, was called off. Or cancelled.
I was still in a bit of a sulk, really. So I didn't watch anything live. So I just looked at it watched some of the fights the next morning, just the ones that I was more bothered about. So I didn't watch the card. So I can talk about Fisher and the Babic fight.
Okay. From that. All right. Well, let's start with the Romford Bull, Johnny Fisher, Alvaro Torrero. What did you make of it? Apparently, he sold like over 1,000 tickets himself from his
1,400, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hear it in the crowd. How many people were singing for him? I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that's the most special thing of the fight, really. I mean, it's the first time I've seen Johnny Fisher, if I'm honest. I know it's his fourth fight, and you know he's quite young. My gut feel is he's going to be someone who's going to be domestic level and maybe pushed to kind of European and get found out. But you don't know in heavyweight boxing, I suppose, because if you've got a good chin and you've got power, you can get a bit further. So we don't know what his chin's like. He's definitely got some power. I don't know kind of what level it is yet. So there's still quite a lot of unknowns, but I don't know. I don't feel he's going to set the world alight, but you know, it was a good tear up. I think as soon as he felt his power, I think one of the commentators said, you know, it started off a bit, you know, punches going back and forth, and then I think he felt Fisher's power and kind of went in the shell a bit, and then after that, it was just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Once he pinged him a couple of times, it was a bit scrappy, really. You know, it was kind of up cuffing shots down and stuff. But again, so hard to know what to make of Fisher. But I don't know. What did you think of the fight? What do you think of him?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen pretty much all of his fights so far, and yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to tell at this early stage. You could tell he hasn't had much of an amateur sort of background, so they're definitely going to take their time with him. But he's very exciting. You know, I can see he's going to be one of those fighters who's going to be quite exciting to watch. Doesn't need to be, you know, reach world level to bring excitement and entertainment. You know, you look at you know, fights. You know, David Price. You know, never got to to the heights. Never really fought for a world title, but he gave us some entertaining, you know, nights, didn't he? And I don't really see. Not so much him, but yeah.
No, but what I mean by that is he never got to a level, but he kind of.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
He was on bills. Do you know what I mean? And if you can sell, let's put it this way, if he hadn't sold that many tickets, he wouldn't have been as high up the bill.
So, yeah, because I mean, I wonder if you know, Josh Warrington, and he's not coming off the back of an Olympics like an AJ, and you know, Josh Warrington, I'd imagine probably didn't sell that many tickets so early on in his career. So he could be one of those kind of stadium like arena fillers that's just, you know, just entertaining to watch. Dave Allen was always very kind of like hit and miss on his performance, because sometimes he didn't always put his heart and soul into it, and you know, you could tell he hadn't had a great camp. But yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, I don't know.
He didn't have so much of a Doncaster following. He just got more. He got a bit more of a following just because of IFL interviews and stuff over time.
Yeah, his personality. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think my gut feel is they're going to really take their time with him, and you know, we're going to see him on the undercard and fighting the likes of, you know, Eric Molina's and top 100 guys for the next 2 or 3 years.
Not Molina, please.
Well, yeah, that brings us swiftly on to. Yeah, well, I hope so. Well, that brings us on to that. I mean, what did you make of that farce? I mean, do you remember when actually, just before we talk about this, do you remember when Fabio Wardley was again fighting him, and I said, this is just like, what's the point? He's just going to come in to lay down. But yeah. Sorry, go
Yeah,
on.
to
Yeah.
be fair though, I haven't seen it quite as bad. I mean, the Wardley fight was the first time I remember thinking, he's dived there. He's looked for the easy way out. I wouldn't say I've seen him do that as bad before. I mean, I think when he gets into real trouble, like with the AJ thing, he kind of turned his back and that. But I almost forgive him that when it's that level. But, you know, and anyway, this fight, I think he was on the floor within 10 seconds, wasn't he? And fair play, he got up for that. But after that, he was throwing back. And I think he landed a couple of like right shots. I think Babic has got a really good chin. I think he's starting to prove he's got a pretty decent chin.
Yeah.
You know, it just with Babic, it's kind of one of these things. I think he's starting to prove he's got a good chin. He's got decent power for his size. I don't know how powerful he really is.
Yeah.
But he nailed Molina in one shot, so he's got to have some power. I don't think that was a dive, that first knockout. I think all the others were.
Well, the last one, it wasn't even a punch that he went down.
No,
I think he got him in a front headlock. No,
the ref should have counted that. He should have just. I thought the ref was just going to go like get up. You know, it's not a knockdown and wipe. You know, but there's a couple of moments where they were both trained. I thought, hang on, this could get exciting, and then you know. But I didn't think Babic was he wasn't quite as swingy. He was a little bit more wary, which I thought that was good. You know, he was wary of the power coming back.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's one of these where probably a good performance from Babic, because it is still the best probably level he's fought. But it's just going to leave a bad taste because of, you know, he doesn't want to know, does he? When it gets rough, he doesn't want to know.
No, he doesn't.
And you know, I'm glad Hearn said basically, you know, he won't be. We've paid him enough now. He won't be in any more of our cards. And then I think he's retired.
Has he?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should do a separate video to reflect on the career of Eric Molina. I did watch some of the other fights. I saw the Yusuf Kamari versus Jorge Castaneda, which was actually a pretty decent fight, very nip and tuck. Castaneda won majority decision. I actually thought Castaneda he really came on strong in the second half of the fight. I think rounds 8 and 9 were very good for him, and he looked like he came on very strong. But for me, I thought Kamari edged it. I thought that he did a lot of the cleaner work in the earlier rounds.
Is it Kamari that's with White?
Yes, yeah, they've got the same trainer.
Yeah,
same trainer as doing White. So. A bit of a back to the drawing board for Yusuf Kamari. But I was quite impressed with him. He's got really great, you know, jab, good accuracy. You know, he was catching Castaneda at will in the early part of the fight, and I thought Castaneda was, you know, not getting embarrassed, but he was getting clearly caught in the exchange. Castaneda looked like he was better when he was kind of getting Kamari back up to the ropes. But yeah, bit of a strange one, really. I don't know what they'll do with that, whether they'll rematch or just sort of move on from it. But yeah, and then the only other one I saw on that bill was the Chantelle Cameron versus Mary McGee, which was not a great watch, if I'm honest. It got entertaining in places, but you know, Mary McGee was a very, very limited fighter, very limited. And Chantelle Cameron just couldn't miss her. Every time.
Quite marked up though, Cameron.
Yeah, because I think she started off really well and was just kept on catching Mary McGee. Mary McGee kept on moving forward and catching her as well. And I think she almost like felt her power, but then didn't really respect her. Like she had this weird like looping overhand right, and it was just looked very, you know, very lazy jab. Her feet were very slow. So I think Chantelle Cameron just grew in confidence and was quite happy to take a couple of shots to maybe try and take her out. Try and get the stoppage. So it just ended up being a bit of a war in some of the rounds. So I mean, obviously it brings good entertainment, but in terms of the quality and the standard, I didn't think it was a great watch, to be honest. But you know, it's great to see, you know, a female fighter top the bill like that. But yeah. So Chantelle Cameron will go on to bigger and better things. I don't know what their plans are for her next. Yeah. And then what else? What else did we see? Oh yeah, Jaron Ennis versus Thomas Dulorne. You saw that one, didn't you? What did you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most exciting up and coming fighters in all divisions, probably. But obviously, welterweight, it's pretty stacked. So, I mean, he's athletically so gifted. Clearly got power in both hands. Switch hitter. Probably gets caught a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just one of those. He's just going to look great against all this opposition, and it's this thing of when's the right time to step up. I mean, he's been calling out someone like Spence and stuff, and it's like, it becomes a different ball game. You know what I mean? There's a lot more than just, athleticism that's going to, you need in a fight, against someone like Spence. So. And anyway, I don't think they'll put him in with someone like that at the moment. They'll be continuous. With someone like that who's getting, eyes, they'll just carry on building. I mean, I don't think he'll fight anyone that's going to push him even next year.
Yeah.
It's a normal tactic. He's going to call out Spence just so he gets his name out there. But next year, he'll fight probably slightly better opposition, but he'll probably have, 3 fights next year, and they will test him a bit, but it'll be the same outcome, and then it'll be 23 where he potentially gets stuck in. I'd have thought.
Is he a PBC fighter?
I think so. Yeah.
So that'll be like 1 or 2 fights next year at best. There don't seem to be. Actually, there's something about PBC fighters. They don't fight regularly enough for me. It's a bit like Gervonta Davis. I think is averaging like 1 fight a year. For the stage of their career that they're at, they should be fighting at least 3 times a year. I'm not really that sold on Jaron Ennis just yet. I think all this like crazy talk about him beating Crawford and beating Errol Spence, I think it's way too early, because Thomas Dulorne is like, he's washed up, and he's not really a 147 fighter. He's spent most of his career at 140. And I think he's lost his last 2 fights as well, and he's been stopped a couple of times before.
Been down a lot as well. And he got, it was a good, it does look, if it was just about athleticism, he's probably the best in the division, but it's more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good element to have, but you need a lot more than that. And, but he does get caught, and maybe against the Spence, he'll be a bit better on defense. But I've seen him fight twice now, and he gets caught.
Yeah, he does. And I think that Virgil Ortiz, who's in the same division as him, I think he's shown a little bit more so far, and I would put him in front of Jaron Ennis in terms of their development. He's got a better resume in less fights. His last fight against Kavaliauskas, showed a lot of heart, and Kavaliauskas is kind of that level, that 1 or 2 tiers above Thomas Dulorne. So Jaron Ennis needs to kind of step up and fight a couple of better people before he starts, being seriously considered for a Crawford or Errol Spence.
Yeah, but it's just the same. It's just this is the recipe, isn't it?
Yeah.
You do this, you start calling out big fighters. It never happens.
No.
It'll be way over a year until he gets near any of them.
Yeah. No, I think so too. What else have we got? Jose Zepeda. If you haven't seen the Jose Zepeda fight, that is one worth watching. Very short. I believe it was actually shown on Sky as part of the Boxer program, but it's ESPN Top Rank fight against Jesue Vargas. There was a bit of needle at the weigh-in. Is the one where it all kicked off.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Jose Zepeda just absolutely put it on him. Like, just caught him with the left hand. It's a perfect 1-2. If you're looking for a textbook 1-2, that is Jose Zepeda. Got to be one of the knockouts of the year already. I mean, Vargas got up, but he was on stiff legs. Looked terrible. It backed him into the corner and just stopped him on volume. And a bit of a statement, actually, because I think Vargas was supposed to be kind of an up and coming, I don't know if he was undefeated, but he was, the heavy I don't know whether he was a favourite, but it was, I think he was like 18-1. And Jose Zepeda has only lost to Jose Ramirez. And I think he's lost to one other in a very early part of his career. Oh, actually, Jose Zepeda lost to Terry Flanagan at lightweight, but he had to retire on his stool after like 2 or 3 rounds from a shoulder injury. And then he lost a majority decision to Jose Ramirez. And Jose Ramirez obviously had that undisputed with Josh Taylor. So Jose Zepeda is he's really in the mix there at the 140 division. So yeah, definitely worth a watch for sure. And I think that concludes. I don't know if there was any other fights that you saw.
No, just those 3. Yeah. We're going into news?
We can. I was thinking we should do. We've got to do a prediction for Canelo versus Plant, which is on Saturday, early hours of Sunday morning. I think we do that. We could do that tomorrow or Wednesday. But yeah, what news have you got? Let's quickly rattle it off.
Obviously, there's a card announced, or just some card news. So Chisora Parker, which I haven't got tickets for yet, but I'm going to be going to.
Yeah.
So like Buatsi's on the undercard of that.
Yeah.
And then you've got Ben. So that's on the 18th in Manchester. And then you've got Ben headlining in Liverpool the week before on the 11th with Katie Taylor. And I think Babic is going to be on that. Again, what I'm going to look to go to.
Okay.
Well, right. A bit of North-South action going on.
Okay.
And Dylan might let me down. So yeah, that's just some card announcements that have come out. Tank's lost his opponent, I believe.
Yeah, I heard about this. Rolly Ramiro. Apparently, he's got a couple of sexual harassment cases against him, or something like that, or something maybe more serious than that. So they're now looking for another opponent. I don't know if they're going to get anybody at such short notice. Isn't it supposed to be on Saturday?
I don't know when it is actually. Soon.
Because they just had they had a press conference, didn't they? Because Ramiro was wearing that horrendous fur coat.
Yeah. Yeah, so when it is.
Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury on pay-per-view on the 18th of December. Thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, that is, I mean, the YouTube stuff I'm not normally into, but it's like, if he's boxing a boxer,
yeah,
then I'm getting more interested. I'm just not sure if I want to get up at that. I'm that bothered to get up at that time.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, so I probably won't see that. And that's on when, the 18th. On the
18th, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll already got a dose of boxing that night, hopefully. But I'll definitely watch it the next morning.
Yeah.
Somehow. But yeah, I mean, if that was like 10 o'clock in the UK evening, I'd be watching that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. It's intriguing. It's a kind of a strange paradox because both are obviously super famous, not particularly gifted in the boxing department. Tommy Fury, you could maybe say, is a little bit, but it's a tricky one with him because he's like super famous and he's like a prospect. So it's a little bit of an issue, isn't it? And the people that he's been fighting so far, Tommy Fury, have been knockover jobs at best.
Well, they've still got more fighting ability probably than what Paul's been fighting.
Yeah. But I think this is where Tommy Fury will win this because Jake Paul only won a split decision, I think, against Tyron Woodley, or a majority decision.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think what Paul really needs to avoid is getting cleaned out.
Yeah.
Because one, if it goes to points, would it be in his favour? No matter how dominant it is, we just don't know.
Yeah.
And two, if he loses on points, he could claim that he won. You know what I mean? I'd like to see Fury clean him out, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and just end the show.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Stop all this nonsense. All right. Yeah, I don't have any other news. Obviously, we didn't catch up since Mikey Garcia got beat by Sandor Martin at 147. That's a bit of a shock result on DAZN. And Shakur Stevenson has announced himself beating Jamal Herring in a pretty lopsided fight for the 130 pounder WBO belt.
I sent you a purse bid. Who was that now?
Oh yeah, Leigh Wood. Leigh Wood is fighting Michael Conlan. Yeah. I don't think they've got a date, but Matchroom have won the purse bid. That's a decent fight. Very good fight.
Yeah. What else we got? Fury White seems to potentially be in a collision course. Is talking about it a little bit more, but I think they're trying to take Hearn out of the equation. I think they want to try and, because he's not with Hearn legally or like contract, so I think they may be looking at doing it without him, but obviously that's going to be challenging. I know you still don't quite buy it yet, do you? But
no, I don't. There's a couple of things I think. Like Eddie Hearn has been either incredibly naive to think that it's going to happen, or he's in a kind of a subliminal way just kind of putting pressure on Team Fury and Top Rank, going, well, he must take the fight because who else is he going to fight? You know, and he's just always being. It's like the assumptive close. He's just like assuming that he's going to take it.
I think there's a bit of that. I think there is a bit of that, but it's almost just like if he starts, because they're expecting. Is it the WBC convention next week?
Isn't it this weekend?
It's either this week or next week.
Yeah.
They expect it to be announced then. So then at that point, that's that hurdle done. It's announced, and it's like, right, are you going to fight? You're going to lose your belt. Decision time.
Yeah. Look, like I said before, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see that happening next year. Just don't see it.
It won't happen this year.
No, next year. I don't see it happening next year. Yeah.
Joshua's. Did you see it? Joshua interview?
No, I've not seen it.
Odd in places.
Yeah.
Seems a bit mixed up. Needs
really?
to. A little bit.
Any news on the trainer?
Still very hurt about it. Seems to be blaming a lot of people, and I don't know if he's obviously knows there's something wrong, and he did talk, but it's almost like I still wonder if he's still stuck between two styles. Because he's like, right, I'm done with boxing. Now he goes, I don't want to not box, but it's I've got to go back to what I was good at. But then last time he was saying it's about the sweet science. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think he can outbox him. I think his best chance is to go for it in a controlled manner, but there's a greater chance he could get knocked out. Or knocked out, I say like tired, knocked out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think he'll have to bulk up a bit. Not silly. If he came in at what would he come in at 240? So maybe 246, 247. And more like the Povetkin kind of weight and thing, and be a bit more, put it on him.
Yeah.
But could backfire. But I can't see him outboxing him. So, but yeah, he's been looking at trainers around America. So we'll see what comes of that. Again, seem to be non-committal and not quite sure. So
needs to kind of make a decision pretty soon. I would say in the next 2 or 3 weeks, because we'll be going into camp soon.
They keep saying now the fight looks like it's in April.
Okay, so camp.
I think what they're going to try and do. I actually think what may happen is, I think Dillian Whyte will either fight Fury or someone for the world title, because that's his next fight. Either Fury for the world title or someone. Probably in early April in a stadium, and then back end of April in a stadium, Joshua. I suppose it does depend who the White fight is. If it's Fury, it's a stadium. If it's in the UK. If it's Ruiz, might be in the States. But I think they'll be around about the same time, but they'll need to space them out for pay-per-view. So one might be, and they're both in the UK and you want them in a stadium, it's really April, isn't it?
Yeah. You want them about a month apart, ideally, I think. Yeah. Watch this space. All right, cool. Let's wrap it up, and we'll do another one tomorrow. We'll do a quick prediction on Plant or Canelo Plant. Yeah.
What date? When is that? That's this week. Is that this weekend or the weekend after?
That's this weekend on Saturday.
Yeah, actually, Hearn flies out. Hearn flies out on Thursday. That's gonna be weird, isn't it? Because like he's not really invited, but Canelo wants him there. So I think he'll just be mischievous. I think it'll be quite funny.
I know, well, it's on BT.
Yeah.
On BT. Is it pay-per-view?
I don't know.
No.
I'm not going to be able to see it. I'm going to have to watch it the next morning.
Yeah, I'm going to see how I go. All right, mate.
I'm going to try and watch it if I can. So don't text me in the morning until I've seen it.
All right, yeah. All right, I'll speak to you later. Thanks everybody for listening.